Alright, what's going on, everybody? This is Z33 here, back to a brand new video. Week 10 of college football is over. It's 7 p.m. right now, so I'm a bit late. I normally record these just when the top 25 drops, which is normally at 1 p.m. Central Standard Time. So I am quite a few hours late. Also apologize for not uploading any videos recently. I have actually not home until the 10th of this month. However, I might consider doing some videos via Steam games on my laptop, who knows. But here we are, still late at night, but we're going to cover Week 10 of college football. Let's get into it. Boise State plays San Diego State. Not anywhere close at all. 56-24. Alshon Gentry, the Heisman favorite. 31 carries, 149 yards for 2 touchdowns. He continues to impress. Not much else to say. What a guy. Oregon plays Michigan. Another statement win. Michigan 5-4 now and 3-3 in the Big Ten. Just barely above 500. Oregon continues their dominant ways. They are clearing away the best team in the nation. They win 38-17. Michigan in shambles as well. Florida and Georgia. Carson Beck had 3 interceptions. DJ Lagway of Florida gets injured. Georgia is able to pull through by 14 points, 34-20. They had a big second half. As you see, they were down 13-6, and then won the second half 21-7. Georgia moves on and wins 34-20. Florida now 4-4 and under 500 in the SEC. Ohio State and Penn State. This game was a nail-biter. A defensive game, not much scoring. At the half, it was only 14-10. Final score was 20-13. Will Howard had an interception and a big fumble, big costly fumble. Penn State had a 4th and goal option, and instead of running it or doing something, it was some weird pass play. I didn't really watch it, but a lot of people are questioning James Franklin's play calling. Penn State loses again, 8 years in a row. Penn State always undefeated. Against Penn State against Ohio State and Michigan are 0-7 since 2021. It's everyone else, they're 35-5. So Penn State is always one of those top 10 teams that doesn't lose until they play Ohio State and Michigan, and they never beat them because they can't go over that hump to become a contender for championship. This was a big blow to them. I anticipate it won't be their only loss of the season if they play Oregon. And they fall again in Ohio State. Big win. Ugly win, but a big win. 20-13. Duke and Miami, as you see at the half. It was quite the game. I thought Duke might pull it out here. Malik Henry had a fantastic game, in my opinion. And then in the second half, look at that. 36-10. Miami blows them out 53-31. An absolute total change and breakaway game in the second half there. Miami, convincing win, because Duke honestly is probably one of the best teams they played all year, if not the best team they have played all year. And they win, continue their unbeaten streak. Cam Ward, 400 passing yards and 5 total touchdowns. Kentucky and Tennessee. Kentucky, one of those teams that's a really good defensive team and pretty much plays almost everyone very close, but just cannot get the win or any wins. They are 3-6 overall and 1-6 in the SEC. Tennessee wins 28-18. Tennessee still a 1-loss team, still in control of their own destiny, still could make the playoff. Texas A&M, after getting into the top 10, is upset by South Carolina, and this is not a close game. This is a 44-20 smack. Sellers, the quarterback, who I think is a great quarterback, very, very young. In the next 3-4 years, he could be a Heisman favorite. He had a great game, and he led his team to victory. A&M does not score in the entire second half. Let's go ahead and look, actually, at the box score here. The box score. Let's go ahead and go into stats here for passing. So Marcel Reed started, and we did not see Connor Wegman come in. He's only 18-20, only 200 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. At 46 rushing yards. So in truth, that's not a bad stat line at all. But I guess they just fumbled the bag in the second half to not score. At the time of the second half, it was 20-21, super close game. I thought it might be a close game. In the second half, South Carolina scores 24 points and wins by 24. Now, South Carolina fans stormed the field and they actually got a big, hefty fine for it. But hey, kudos to you guys. They beat a top 10 team. And A&M falls to 7-2, their first loss in the SEC after being the sole remaining undefeated SEC team. They lay an egg essentially in what could have been, because realistically, if you look at their schedule, let's look at their schedule. Realistically, they've got New Mexico and Auburn. Those are two easy wins, so they could have gone against Texas undefeated. Even if they lose to Texas, they are still probably in the SEC championship. And now, if they don't beat Texas, they may not be in it. Because if you look at the standings here, Georgia is at 5-1, A&M now 5-1, Tennessee 5-1, Texas 3-1, LSU 3-1. So it is a race between these teams right here. They were undefeated. If they lose that game, they're in. Like guaranteed, they're in the SEC championship. And now, whew, I don't know. Because if we look at Texas, who have they got? Let's look at full team schedule. Who have they got? They got Florida, Arkansas, and Kentucky. I personally think that while some of these games might be close, they should go undefeated. So both teams will go undefeated. So whoever wins that game, in my opinion, is going to the SEC championship. So again, A&M, just like A&M, they always lose when the going gets tough. Big upset right here. Texas Tech, game-winning field goal. Iowa State is no longer undefeated. Undefeated falls. We are losing our undefeateds. There's only a little handful left. Iowa State falls to Texas Tech. It gets a big win. They're 6-3. Not a bad year for them after what was looking to be a very bad year. They are pulling it back together. Bowl eligible. Iowa State now needs to win out if they want to win the Big 12. It's a tight race in the Big 12. Very tight. Louisville upsets Clemson. Here's the thing about Clemson. Clemson's only two losses are against the only two teams they played that are over 500. Every other team they played is an under 500. When they played when they played Georgia, it was like 30-3. And they played Louisville, and Louisville beat their ass. It's 33-21. So every time they played a team that is quote unquote good, they have lost convincingly. So Clemson obviously is probably the most overrated team in the nation. And they definitely don't deserve to win the SEC. So I hope they lose another game and don't even get into the conference championship. I'm not a Clemson fan at all. As you can tell, but Louisville, big convincing win because I feel like they're also one of the most overrated teams. I think they were in the top 15, maybe even in the top 10 to start the season, maybe at number 11, I think. And they're now undefeated. But that is a big, big win for them. Really big. Indiana, another blowout game. They've blown out everybody. Everyone. And they got some big tests coming up. They beat Michigan State 47-10. Man, they are good. This coach and this transfer quarterback, no one saw this coming, but this is insane. Insane. This is the first time in the school history that they are 9-0. Wow. Moving on, another upset. Kansas State, another Big 12 team fighting for top spot, falls. Kansas State loses again, 24-19. Long TD wins it, an upset at the end of the game. Sorry. Kansas State is in shambles. They fall to 4-2 in the Big 12. Pittsburgh and SMU, the battle of the unbeatens. Both teams are undefeated, and SMU not only beats Pittsburgh, but blows them out 48-25. This is one of those teams that probably no one saw coming. SMU is one of the best teams in the nation, and the best team in the ACC by far, in my opinion. It's SMU and Miami, and there's a big gap, and there's everyone else. SMU very well could be headed to the college football playoff. Just to be clear, they really could do it because they're blowing out everybody. And Miami plays really, really bad, and they have poor starts. SMU is way better than anyone they played. So if these two teams play, I'm going with SMU. Ole Miss and Arkansas. This was one of those games, an upset alert, and Ole Miss blows them out by 32 points, 63-31. Arkansas is in shambles, absolute shambles. I mean, Arkansas gets a little bit of hope. They were 5-3, maybe could do something with the season, and they get blown out. Yikes! Army still undefeated. Wins beats Air Force 20-3. Minnesota another upset, Illinois drops 2 games in a row, falls to 6-3. Minnesota also 6-3, however, has the better record at 4-2. Illinois is probably going to drop out of the top 25 after a very promising start to the season. They have gone backwards very, very quickly. So let's go ahead and check the top 25 standings. Nope, rankings, not standings. Top 25. Oregon still at 1. Georgia still at 2. Ohio State moves back up in the top 3. Miami rounding out the top 4 at 4. Texas at number 5. Penn State drops down 3 points to number 6, still above Tennessee at 7. Indiana in the top 10 at last. They are number 8 in the nation. BYU, another unbeaten team, just behind them at number 9. And we've got Notre Dame, for some reason, rounding out the top 25. Okay. Alabama just outside at 11. Boise State all the way up to 12. SMU up to 13. They've jumped 7 points. LSU at 14. A&M drops 5 down to 15. Ole Miss up 3, up to 16. Iowa State drops 6 points. Number 17. Army up 3 at 18. Clemson drops 8 to number 19. Washington State is in the top 20 at 20. Colorado 21. They're in the top 25. Holy moly. Kansas State and Pittsburgh both dropped 5. Pittsburgh first loss of the year. They're now at 22-20 respectively. Vanderbilt not ranked, back in the top 25 at 24. And Louisville also not ranked, back in the top 25 at 25. Just outside is Missouri and South Carolina, Tulane, and I guess UNLV. But dropping is Illinois and Missouri. Let's go ahead and go into the stats real quick. Jackson Dart takes back the number 1 spot. Cam Ward just behind him at number 2. Chandler North was that starting. I guess he had a bye week. Kyle McCord at number 5. Alshon Jeffrey, look at that. He's almost 300 yards ahead of Caleb Johnson, which is insane. McMillan from Arizona, despite them having a very poor season, he is now the first receiver to hit 1,000 yards. Let's go ahead and go actually into the conference standings here. Army Black Knights obviously undefeated, and Tulane also undefeated in conference at least. Miami and SMU, it's between these two teams in my opinion. I think both these teams go undefeated and will play in the SEC championship. And honestly, if SMU loses, they're probably out of the college football playoff. If they win, they're in, and Miami is still probably in as well. So much bigger task for SMU to win, as opposed for Miami to quote unquote lose. BYU, people thought they were going to be in the bottom half, and they are undefeated and the best team in the Big 12 by far. I don't think anyone touches them. Low key, I don't think any of these teams that are right in the hunt can touch them. I think BYU is the best team by far, and the only team that can make the playoff, in my opinion. Well, here's the thing: if any of these teams beat BYU in the Big 12 championship, they'll get in, but I don't think they will. And then Arizona, 1-5, 3-6. I guess losing that coach really did a number on them because they were a really good team last year. And yikes. Utah also 1-4. Not expected. Oklahoma State 0-6. Kansas. So this projection is completely flopped as to what we were expecting this year. Crazy, crazy, crazy football. Indiana and Oregon tied for first. Ohio State and Penn State just behind them. It is a race. It is an absolute race. Colorado undefeated in the Mountain West. SEC. And look at that. All these teams. Let's go ahead and go into the schedule for next week and see what we got coming. Week 11. Sorry, the scores. Week 11, what do we got? Florida and Texas. Florida at Texas. Here's the thing. Texas favored by 21 points. It should be a blowout. Should be. But you never know. Purdue and Ohio State should be a blowout, but Purdue has beaten Ohio State plenty of times in an upset, but should be a blowout. Miami and Georgia Tech should be a blowout. As we know, Miami tends to not play good in the second half. However, Miami should win this one convincingly. Big game for Ole Miss, Georgia and Ole Miss. If Ole Miss wins this game, they can potentially get back in the SEC playoff. Potentially. But I don't think they have a chance to get Georgia. I got to be with you. I really don't think they have a chance. It's at Mississippi State, so it's a home game. But I really don't think they have a chance against Georgia. I got to be real with you. Michigan and Indiana, this should be a blowout for sure. Bet my life on it. Wait, sorry. No, I don't do that, actually. Iowa State and Kansas should be a blowout. Redemption game for Iowa State. Army and North Texas, another blowout. Clemson and Virginia Tech. Don't care. Honestly, I hope Clemson loses again. Colorado and Texas Tech. Texas Tech coming off a big upset win here. It's going to be a close game, I think. Either it's going to be a close game or Colorado's going to blow their ass out of the water. One of the two. South Carolina and Vanderbilt. Going to be a close game. You know what? I take South Carolina with the upset here. I really do. Maryland and Oregon should be a blowout. Mississippi State and Tennessee should be a blowout. Florida State and Notre Dame should be a blowout. LSU and Alabama. Ooh, that's a cool game. Ooh, it's in Baton Rouge. That's going to be probably the game of the week right there. I love it when Alabama and LSU plays. It's always a fun time. I don't know who's going to win. I really don't. It's a tough matchup. Personally, I would like LSU to win. I do have some family that live in Louisiana, so they're Tiger fans. So I'll be pulling for LSU for that one. Washington and Penn State should. It's going to be a close game. Actually, I take that back. I think it's going to be a close game. But I think Penn State will pull it out. Boise State and Nevada should be a blowout. Boise State, crazy year. I think they're going to be in the College Bowl playoff. It's going to be awesome. Virginia and Pittsburgh should be, I don't know. Pittsburgh only favored by 7 points here. BYU and Utah should be a blowout. And then Utah State and Washington State, who cares? Who the heck cares? Let's actually, real quick. Who does Tennessee play? So they play Mississippi State. They still got to play Georgia and Vanderbilt. They win this game, they lose that game, they win that game. So they were going to lose one more game. I mean, lost Arkansas, but I think they lose one more game to Georgia, and they're out of the race. Georgia, who do they play? No, I want Georgia, please. They played Tennessee and Ole Miss back-to-back games. So again, for Georgia, I think they win out. I think Texas wins out, and I think Georgia wins out. And that makes them play again in the SEC championship game. Or LSU. LSU could get in, couldn't they? I don't know who'd win that tiebreaker. Because LSU hasn't played Georgia or Texas. So none of these three teams have played each other. So who gets in? I don't know. They all win out. Who gets in? It's going to be tough. But that is it for this week. It's getting down to the wire. A lot of close races. Who knows what the heck's going to happen? You never know. It's college football. With that being said, this is Drew signing out. Leave a like on the video if you enjoy. Subscribe for more content. And as always, stay frosty.